Good morning. Good morning, and welcome to another episode of the Rise Up Morning Somewhere show. Might not be morning there, but it's morning here. And today, it is a bit of a holiday, at least in the United States. I don't know how widespread it is. Good morning, good to see everyone. But we are going to get into it regardless. Today, we are going to go through a little bit of a market overview, specifically because I kind of want to talk about navigating these like boring markets. This is the single most important time, in my opinion, to be paying attention. And more often than not, when things get a little bit boring, things get a little bit sideways, people start to drift away. So if you're here, you're killing it. Good job. I always say that the people who are here paying attention are the ones that the people who leave will point at and call lucky in a year or in however long it takes the next time everything is ripping. You are not lucky, you are just committed. I also wanted to go through a little bit of ETH stuff. We're going to talk about the state of DeFi on Ethereum, specifically why Vitalik himself doesn't really like DeFi or doesn't seem to like DeFi. And then we'll see what else we get into.
Oh, hello?
Hey, there he is. Maybe?
Oh, why is my connection so bad?
All right. Well, there you are.
Can you see me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
For now.
Good. Yeah, my TikTok is being a little slow. I don't know why. I've been trying to post my morning update video, and it's going like 1% upload every like minute. I'm just like, okay. I'm like, Alex is gonna think I'm slacking today. I'm only able to put out one morning video.
That is supremely disappointing.
I know. Sad times in the kingdom. Almost as sad as Bitcoin having a shitty weekly candle close.
Almost as bad. Yeah. No. So that was. Why don't we start there? That was kind of one of those things I wanted to highlight at least a little bit. That, like, for lack of a better word, the market is boring right now, and that's always the time when like views go down and show attendance goes down and everyone's like, there's nothing to do here. This is boring. I'm done. Or more likely, they bought a bunch of shit at the last top and now it has crashed. So better leave. We've all
Makes
been
sense. That's how you make money.
We've all been there, right?
Stop paying attention to your investments and they'll do great.
Yep. So anyway, do you have any way that you talk about that or share, your views on the whole idea of, sticking it out? Because we all know that, at some point when things pick up again, everyone who won will just be called lucky by the masses that walked away and left.
Well, now that I have my thinking axe.
Yeah, now that you have the thinking axe.
No, the most important thing is, like, during the boring time, you start to see which, especially if you're new, you get to see which projects in this crypto space are going to be breaking, right? You're gonna see some teams go totally debunked. You're gonna see teams missing their roadmaps because they never had a good plan for actually hitting those roadmaps. You're going to see some companies probably collapse because they are insolvent, meaning that they do not have any money to continue operations, and they go bankrupt. And then you see just like a whole bunch of shit happen, right? And if you're new or if you're a veteran to the space, you get to see like what stuff's actually sticking, right? You get to see what use cases were actually being adopted. You're going to see all of these AI coins poof, just disappear. Go into nothing.
There was nothing there.
Because there was actually, like the Wizard of Oz, as the small dog pulls aside the curtain, you realize that behind this literal multi-billion-dollar cryptocurrency altcoin AI industry, there was nothing there. Whoa! And yeah. And so then you get to figure out like, oh, okay, cool. There was actually nothing there. Why was there nothing there? And I'm saying that for AI and for a few other things. You go like, oh, okay, or for even for like certain platform cryptocurrencies, you know, for it just depends on like, was the team building? Did they get adoption amongst their targeted audience? If they did, they're going to keep building. They're going to keep being around. I'm very curious to pay close attention to Avalanche as this market continues to potentially slide, because they have had some really good announcements in this, you know, bear run that we've been having. Across getting adoption from Franklin Templeton, across the huge adoption they had with like a car company manufacturer. I forget exactly what it was, but they've had like
the DMV.
What was that?
The California DMV.
That's right. Yeah. So they've had some really good news drops. So now I'm like, okay, cool. Like, what else is going on there? Because for a while we just tied Avalanche to the Web3 trend, but now we've had some really good things happen for them. So I'm like, okay, cool. I want to pay more closer attention to Avalanche. I want to pay closer attention to Near Protocol too, because Near Protocol is still at the absolute top of user adoption levels. And I want to see, okay, cool. How do those adoption levels maintain in this bear run? Because they did pretty damn well through the last bear market we had. You know, how well are they going to hold up here? Which platform cryptocurrencies are going to absolutely tank their user adoption? How is Solana's user adoption going to hold up? Because it's the meme coin casino, but meme coins no one touches at all in a bear market. So how far is Solana going to fall in terms of its user adoption, right? These are the things to gauge. Because in the bear market, in the bull market, hype covers up a lot of what you really should be paying attention to. And the hype train is a bunch of bullshit that gets added on that can really make a coin go up, which is worth paying attention to for sure, because we're investors here in this market, right? But when the bear market comes, all those soft benefits get wiped off the screen again, and you get to see where the projects stack up against each other in terms of true adoption, development, and that creates a basis of something you may want to invest in. So those are the things to like be paying attention to. Go on things like DApp Radar and figure out who's maintaining unique wallet addresses, who's maintaining user adoption levels. Go on DeFi Llama. See, okay, like the market's dead, but are people still putting crypto on these DeFi protocols? Because you're going to find a few who they still are. Aerodrome has still had their TVL go up lately. So you're like, okay, cool. Is that because Aerodrome's awesome, or is that because Base is awesome? Could be a combination of both. Might just be Base. You know, start asking yourself those questions, because that could lead you down the road. If you're not interested in investing in Aerodrome when things turn back around, that can still lead you to going, oh, hey, but Base is still growing, right? You know, and you know that could be a further validation even for going back to Avalanche. Avalanche's main decentralized exchange is Trader Joe. Go to Trader Joe. Are people putting Avalanche still on Trader Joe in this bear run? If so, that could be a good sign for Avalanche in the months to come as an investment in Avalanche, or to look at altcoins on Avalanche, right? These are all questions to ask yourself to figure out how do you put yourself on a good path to find the first coins that will pump when the market turns green, and that then can also potentially pump harder and faster than the other things. So like now is the time to absolutely be paying attention to those things. And it's also the time to look at your own portfolio and your own investing strategies to be like, cool, did I protect myself enough in this market? Odds are probably not. You know, we probably have a red portfolio, probably, you know, held on for too long, probably, you know, missed some things either on technical analysis or just didn't practice any, you know, averaging out. And we held on to, no, markets are going to keep going up because the four-year cycle. And are we ignoring the things that are potentially more important than that, like macroeconomics, like inflation really, really eating away at retail's ability to be able to invest in things like altcoins, right? These are all things to step back, say like, okay, cool. What was I missing in my strategy as an investor? What was I missing in terms of my strategy for picking altcoins? How can I get better? Where can I learn? Who do I go to? What books do I read? what course do I potentially sign up for, and do all that kind of stuff. Because now's the time to do all that shit, so that when the markets turn green again, you don't immediately allow your emotions to run into a rug pull or a honeypot scam. You lose everything, and you find yourself in a position where maybe you bought your coins in 2023 instead of 2024, and when the markets took a huge 50% dump, you were still up multiple hundreds of percentage points, right? That's the situation you want to be in, where if the market sells, and people shit on you for selling, oh, dude, you sold the bottom. Like, yeah, guys, but I bought so long ago. I'm still up multiple hundreds of percentage points, and I want to protect myself, right? That is the time. And so that's my very, very long rant. And apparently no one liked my long rant because, Alex, I just destroyed the live audience here by 50 people.
That's okay. No, I boil it down to a couple key areas. So, like Will said, the reason that my portfolio hasn't been red since 2022 is because I bought it in 2022. And even now, hang on. Yeah, okay. Even now, every single thing that I own is up. Every single one. So the reason that is the case is because starting at a time like now, potentially, even if we didn't know, like, wait, is this a bear market or not? It's like, I don't give a shit. I'm not going to take the chance. And I've been through it before where I skipped out on the entire thing, and now here I am, right? Mm-hmm. So I have no interest in being the one who watches everyone have made the decision a year and a half ago, made fun of them, or just not paid any attention, and then came back and bitched about how no one told me that this is what I was supposed to be reading about or learning about. And I want to make it like abundantly clear that this isn't go buy all of it, because it's all going to go back up. The vast majority of it is never going to do anything because most of it is garbage. So the great skill lies in sussing out garbage. That's the superpower in Web3 and crypto. It's like Will just said, when markets go boring, don't even think about like a massive bear market crash. Just when things get boring and people start to leave and walk away, and airdrop season is over. So, people are like, okay, well, now I don't have any incentive to use any of these things. It turns out the only reason anybody was in anything was a quick flip on the airdrop. And now, they're walking away, they're leaving, TVL's dropping, wallet creation is slowing down, activity on DeFi protocols is slowing down, nothing's minting anymore, all of these kinds of things. All of this is true. And then you see an announcement like, the couple things that Avalanche has had, and absolutely nothing happens to the price or it drops. That's when you start taking notes. And I don't mean like big announcement comes out, go buy a shitload of Avalanche on day one, but write that down. I guess I'm old school. I just keep these. It's just pages of observations of like, hey,
yes, you practiced the old ways.
Yeah, I have to write it down on paper with a pen, or it's lost to me. So just like things happen, and I'm paying attention, and I take notes, and then I combine all of those notes later when it's like, oh, hey, Avalanche just did this. Oh, didn't they also? And I'm like looking through notes, like, okay, yeah, they also had this on this date, and the price did either this or negative or nothing or whatever, and I just combine all of that. And it's tedious work sometimes. It's not the most thrilling or exciting thing. But guess what? Look at where the market is, and my portfolio is not even close to breaking even right now. I'm so far up that I haven't looked at the price since last Thursday when we streamed. I opened the prices this morning, and that's all I ever do. I could have opened this and seen Bitcoin at 45,000. I still would have been up. So take that for what it is. Or it could have been at 75 and it would have been, oh, exciting. I guess I'm selling stuff today. And that's it. It's like, that's the secret. Like, there's no gatekeeping. That's the fucking secret. You just have to pay attention. My portfolio is also very boring. So Matt, to your question, it's literally Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Avalanche, Ronin now a little bit, and USDC, and that's it. Because it's boring, but it's up a bunch, and you know what? It doesn't cause me to lose sleep every night wondering if this flaky pyramid scheme number 9,872 is gonna crumble. And that's it. So the last thing I wrote down while Will was talking, although in my dramatic unveiling of my notes, I flipped the page and lost it. So hold on. There it is.
But that's exactly what you described. Like, that's how you make sure you win in the market. You're probably not going to hit your 100x, but also if you're looking for your 100x, you're probably in a mindset of someone who's going to hold a piece of crap coin and not sell it until it hits that 100x, and you might even have like a 50x opportunity, but you're like, no, it's going to go higher, and you don't hit the sell button, and then all of a sudden, it's down 80% in 2 weeks.
Right. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, like, I'm not above throwing a little bit into something that might 100x.
Oh, I'm certainly not either. I mean, shit, I take on way more risk than Alex does, for sure.
For sure. But still, I mean, I just do it with a very small piece of my portfolio, so that, if I want to throw, something at something insane and stupid that may work out, may not, it's 5%. If it goes to 0, I lost 5%. But guess what? I've made 500% on everything else, so that's okay. Or if I win, 5% can be a significant chunk. It can turn into something great. And that's fine. So all I wrote down while Will was talking, the 4 things that I pay attention to right now, and just make notes about, especially projects that 1, you're either invested in, or 2, you might want to. This applies equally to all of them. Pay attention to announcements. What are they doing? What are they saying? What's being said or announced about them, either from them or about them? And then pay attention to how the market reacts, if it doesn't react, but just keep notes, keep track of all that stuff. Social activity. How are they talking on social media? Did they disappear off of Twitter or whatever the second the market dried up? Because that's a giant red flag, and I don't trust them at all. If you can't...
Mm-hmm.
You can't... Go ahead.
No, finish your thoughts. Sir, I apologize.
If you can't keep in contact with your people the second that the gains start disappearing, to me that says we never had anything to talk about except price action, and we're not prepared to be a company. And at the end of the day, like it or not, these are all startup companies in the tech space, in an emerging area of the tech space. It's the riskiest of the risky tech startup genres. And if you can't handle a crisis in price crashing, and if you can't handle a crisis in PR, holy shit, you have no chance. You're being propped up by hopes and dreams, and the second those crumble, your whole company's gone. So pay attention to social media activity and how they're talking, what they're talking about. Wallet creation, which is essentially just like, is anyone new coming to the chain? Keeping in mind that, of course, wallet creation does not always mean brand new person being onboarded. People like, I have a lot of wallets. So, if you looked at just wallet count, but it's one metric in a sea of metrics. So look at on-chain metrics. And then last, which is a subsection of on-chain metrics, would be TVL specifically. If you look at the overall...
Oh, and by the way, if you guys don't know what TVL is, it stands for total value locked. Basically, it's the total amount of money being put into a DeFi protocol, a decentralized finance protocol. So something like an Aerodrome or a Uniswap or a Jupiter, or money that's being put into the entire DeFi ecosystem of like Avalanche or Ethereum or Solana. It's just the amount of money on chain being used within finance protocols.
So Will mentioned this website earlier. This is a really good one to bookmark. It's called DeFi Llama. And they just do a very good job of breaking down the money in crypto. So their homepage right here gives you an overview of all of the big blockchains, or even the small ones. And you can see that the total value locked, which is the total amount of actual money being stored on these blockchains. This is not to be confused with market cap.
Correct.
Market cap is totally different. This is actual real money that is locked onto these DeFi protocols that people are staking, that people are yield farming with, that people are providing liquidity with, whatever. And you can see they even break it down here to stable coins and volume. So this is total, okay? Something we're going to get into in a second here. More than half. Come on. You can do it.
Go Wi-Fi. Go Wi-Fi.
More than half of that is on Ethereum.
Yep.
So that's something. The other thing to keep in mind, actually, I just noticed Ethereum's TVL is going up right now. It was at 46 something yesterday. Anyway, this chart right here is very long term. Here's April of 2018. Okay, so not much going on. Blah 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 blah. We run into this big 2021 bear market, or bull market, excuse me, peaking at the end of 2021. But this is the ebb and flow of money during the market. So you can see here, this is where TVL got up to last bull market. We cratered. Okay, bear market comes in, money disappears, but there was still billions locked. Billions of dollars worth of money people were staking and holding out and riding.
How much was it? Do you mind scrolling over it?
Yep, it was in the 20s. Yeah, 20, oscillating between 30 on the high end and 21 on the low end. And then we peaked, we climbed again during this last market here, got up to 56 billion. Which is probably a testament to the fact that there's a lot more blockchains that took some market share, but Ethereum's still king, and now going back down again. So good thing to keep track of, because this is a metric that actually matters. Literal money kept on chain, not fugazi market caps and Ponzi scheme.
Yes.
So
the other thing about TVL, because it's specific to DeFi environments are liquidity generating tools, meaning that they generate liquidity that can then flood into, in this case, Ethereum's altcoins, right? That's one of the reasons why 2020's cycle was so hot, because we had DeFi summer. We had DeFi summer, which was a liquidity generating event for retail, and retail investors were generating this yield. We're getting this extra money, we're taking it, we're putting it into various altcoins, right? And it helped to really, really fuel the altcoin rally that we had in that cycle. So that's another good thing to look at TVL too for the big platform cryptos, because you can then start telling yourself like, okay, cool. Whichever one of these, like if Solana is growing, if Near Protocol is growing, if Hedera is growing, it's a really good, healthy, fertile ecosystem for altcoins to start to pop off more. That's one of the reasons why Solana did super, super well, was because their DeFi environment was really, really growing and getting stronger, because it was really, really fast settlement times, and it was super, super, super cheap. So people brought their money over to Solana. And the user experience, that's the other thing too. The user experience was good, using things like the Phantom wallet, using things like Radium before Jupiter became a thing for a decentralized exchange. And that's one of the big reasons why Solana popped off in 2023 and 2024.
Yeah, no, and that kind of leads us into a good thing to track during the bear market, because Will said, like Will was pointing out, some of the stuff that ran Solana up was stuff like the meme coin casino, which notoriously dies during a bear market. Although I will say, Will, interestingly, that even still, there's nearly $1 billion of 24-hour volume on Solana.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not shocked.
No, it's interesting because I think that the meteoric recovery post FTX I think that's done a lot to cement more confidence in Solana as a network, because if you can come back from the centralization issues, the fact that the network went down how many times, and the fact that FTX bungled that whole thing.
Went bankrupt and had to sell a shit ton of Solana. Yeah.
And that ecosystem cratered to $8 and then recovered to over 200 and then got billions and billions and billions of dollars in volume and now has over $4 billion total value locked. I just think that's confidence cementing action and activity, and we'll see because.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think Solana's here to stay. You know,
No,
unless something.
I even mean the meme coin casino being more of a mainstay during the bear market, because what we're seeing right now is people being like, hey, the markets are boring. Why don't we just go do more meme stuff? And
Yeah, but at the same time, you know, volume is also selling.
Sure.
You know,
Yeah.
it's also people getting liquidated. You know,
that's but I'm saying if you pull up fresh pairs on Dex Screener, for example.
Oh, okay, that's still popping off.
There's still projects that do hundreds, if not thousands of percent. Now, granted, this is a bit of a nuanced piece of data. Will made a very good point that volume includes selling. So when people get absolutely hosed, that counts as volume. The number of memes that launch and rip for no reason and then rug or just disappear, that is down. It's just still happening. There's $814 million of trading volume in the last 24 hours on Solana itself, which is not nothing. But keeping in mind that during the throes of meme mania, it was multiple billions. So it's definitely down. It's just interesting that it hasn't completely disappeared and that everything here isn't red.
Yeah, just wait until I'm going to say if Bitcoin capitulates. If you guys don't know what capitulation is, it's when markets are down and everyone's like, oh God, well, markets have to go up now, right? And then Bitcoin's like, oh, I only just started to go down, and then just and then markets get crushed. It happens in every bear market. Now, whether we're in a bear run right now or a bear market, we won't know until a few more months, right? We have a few more months hindsight, right? But, those capitulation moments for Bitcoin, those really, really squashed the altcoin environments. Oh boy.
Yeah, but, which is, it's necessary though, because you got to wash out the nonsense.
Yeah, but I do wish the nonsense could just be around forever. And it's just up forever. Alex, Papa, why? Papa, why?
Nonsense is easy. Nonsense is easy, and we love nonsense. When you can, when you say, RWA is trending as a narrative, and a project goes, "Hey, we're RWA, great. Here's 10,000%."
Yes, beautiful.
That is nonsense.
Good.
When that's happening, I would definitely be making sure. We'll get to that point again at some point.
No, it's like that meme where the person's like, "I've done nothing wrong," and they're like, "I know this. I know this. Here's money." Forget the God. I forget the name of that actor. Shit, I love that actor. But whatever.
Make sure you're taking profit when that happens again, so that you don't end up in the situation you may, hopefully not, but you may be in right now, where prices are down and you're in the red because you listened to influencers that said it was going to go up forever. It never goes up forever.
Can it go up forever? It doesn't go up forever.
Doesn't go up forever.
Don't do that.
Will, shall we? I wanted to segue a little bit from this topic into Ethereum DeFi specifically. Did you get a chance to look at that link Evan shared? It's pretty short.
I did not.
So I'll summarize for you, and I'm curious to get your immediate response, your gut response to this, because I think it's interesting. So I think it's worth noting beforehand, before we get into this, that Vitalik is a pretty big fan of Web3 and crypto. And okay, perfect. Evan's on his way, and he's the one that brought this up. So we'll get our initial things out, and then Evan can fill in the gaps if we miss anything here. But I don't think anyone could look at Vitalik and say this dude doesn't want the industry to succeed, right? He is one of, if not, he's one of the biggest names in the space, absolute bar none. Maybe Satoshi is a bigger deal than Vitalik, but Vitalik is.
I'd probably say Vitalik's number 2.
Yeah. For anyone who doesn't know, Vitalik Buterin is the young coding prodigy that built Ethereum. He is the king of Ethereum. He made Ethereum. There were several other people on his team, notable names: Gavin Wood.
Wood.
Who left to create Polkadot, and Charles Hoskinson, who left to create Cardano. There were several others, but those three were key players in the beginnings of Ethereum. Vitalik is still there. And he basically makes the claim about why he's not super excited about DeFi as an industry within Web3. Is, I think the basic summary of what I got from this is that all of the, like yield coming from borrowers and trading fees is basically just like value of crypto tokens being propped up by people trading more crypto tokens. Yep. And I don't think that that's necessarily wrong. Like, I don't think that his assessment is incorrect. It would be, first of all, it'd be pretty high horsey of me to tell Vitalik that he's wrong. I wouldn't do that lightly. But I just, my conflicting opinion would be, I don't think that matters, because traditional finance is people trading money for money's sake, and it's being propped up by more money. I mean, how much fake money or, illegitimate volume or value exists in the traditional finance market when we're talking about futures of anything? Or, I mean, so much of the stock market is not valued on raw revenue potential or real revenue from a company. I mean, there's tons of hype and speculation inside of the stock market as well. People forget about that, but stocks go up and crumble and disappear, and companies go bankrupt. I don't know the rate at which companies go bankrupt off the top of my head, but I'm sure it's not super low.
Well, this year we have more bankruptcies this year than in any year since 2016, and the year's not over yet. So bankruptcies this year are pretty high for the standard. But did I cut you off at all, or did you finish your thought?
No, I'm kind of just I'm curious what you think about this. Basically my full summary of thought on this right now is, that I see what Vitalik is saying, that we're fabricating value out of nowhere, and that the value of crypto tokens is being propped up by people wanting to trade them for other crypto tokens. And I think there's probably a little bit more nuance. Let's bring Evan up, but I just don't think it's that terrifying of a thing, because it's just kind of the way that markets work.
That just kind of strikes me as like, what up, Morton, dude? Yep. That just kind of strikes me as like Vitalik not wanting his platform to be used for finance, and wanting it to be used for things like logistics and for manufacturing and for insurance and for, other stuff that's not just finance / investment focused. It strikes me as him being like, hey, like I built this thing, like ideally in my head, to be used by like everyday businesses for XYZ, for, I don't know, pick whatever use case you want, for creating a holistic, safe environment for people to get control of their data, in this world. He probably had all those thoughts, which everyone's working on, but the number one use case is definitely DeFi. So I could see him being like, and what he says is right. The DeFi environment is crypto propping up crypto, and it's just this trend that, if you look at it like that, isn't necessarily useful to like an everyday person or industries, but like, this is financial technology. Like the first use case adoption is going to be amongst the financial world. And just like you said, it's just copying the financial world and putting it into a decentralized world, which is improving that. But to me, those comments, my personal take on it, is just Vitalik being like, hey, like, I don't like this as much because it's not what I really want the focus of Ethereum to be, but like that's up to the people. It's not necessarily up to me. So that to me was what I took out of his comments.
Yeah, it's worth noting that Vitalik is not a person who goes on social media and rants about his personal feelings or opinions ever. Certainly not often. He is like obscenely objective when it comes to offering a take on anything. Like there's a very big difference between the way that Charles talks about stuff. Like if you read Charles's note this morning, or last night to the world about Cardano, kind of listing, like what it's done and what it's accomplished and what the tech is and blah, 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 regardless. Like that's a very different manner of speaking than the way Vitalik talks. So I would agree with Will. I think Vitalik is talking about this like the partial AI cyborg that he probably is, just being like, this was not the primary objective. But at the end of the day, finance makes the world go round. So it was inevitable.
Mm-hmm.
Alex, I think you hit the nail.
God damn it, Evan. We talked about this last night. We were supposed to disagree on something with this so that we could
I
argue.
didn't say you hit the nail on the head. I just said I think you hit the nail. I think you hit the nail.
Okay.
You hit the nail, you hit it from the side, and you totally fucked it up. That's what
I don't think it can be overstated. Like, not only is Vitalik a big deal, I would go so far as to say Vitalik founded DeFi. Like, the first mention of DeFi as a concept, decentralized exchanges, swapping, bridging, is in the Ethereum white paper. And so I think Vitalik is a fan of many of the financial services, but what it seems like Vitalik is not a fan of is this role he has sort of been appointed to in the context of the PvP crypto Twitter DeFi space.
That's fair.
I agree with you both. Vitalik is obviously has a more nuanced understanding of this, is very interested in quadratic funding, public goods. But, when SHIB launched, we talked about this the other day on After Dark, all of a sudden they were like, let's give Vitalik's wallet 50%. And he was like, I don't know why you did this to me. I'm just going to, he donated literally billions of dollars to people in need because he was like, what? You gave it to me? So I don't really need it. But I think there's this very critical role of him that people who do want to see the PvP DeFi kind of accelerate feel as though he ought to be doing more to kind of prop up the activity and price. Because let's face it, Ethereum people are down bad right now. They're hurting. And it was funny to me because somebody in this like conversation, this back and forth, somebody was like, basically told him, we just want you to start bull posting Ethereum. And so he made this meme that was a picture of a bull that had the word Ethereum in its mouth that went viral. And it's ironic because, like people blew that up. And obviously he was just joking around. But they don't necessarily want to hear if he comes out with a sermon about, why zero knowledge is the future.
Evan, it's even better. It was a bowl. It's just a bowl that says Ethereum.
It's so good. That's so good.
That's right.
It's so shitty. It's perfect.
He's like, what do you want from me?
Yeah.
So this is the full tweet. I've been told that I need to do less philosophizing and do more Ethereum bull posting. Hence, here is an Ethereum bull post, courtesy of Stable Diffusion 3 in Painting and GIMP.
I love how the bull is so like nonplussed about being in the meme. It's just like, it's definitely capturing Vitalik's mood. Just like, I hate this. I hate this.
Yeah, the bull is not happy, but Ethereum is good.
And the last point I kind of wanted to make about this is the broader Ethereum Foundation. Like you mentioned, Alex, there's a very big difference between the way Vitalik is related to the Ethereum Foundation and the Ethereum community, or even wants to be, than someone like Charles or, dare I say, Richard Hart to Cardano or Hex, respectively, and the price action of those tokens. I recently learned that the Ethereum Foundation's annual budget, guess, what do you think the Ethereum Foundation's annual budget is? I would love to know what you guys think about this. This is and for anybody who's playing along at home, this is a nonprofit foundation that is created to steward the development of Ethereum. They sell ETH to spend money.
Annual budget?
XRP and Ripple do, but it's a different sort of relationship. So what do you think their budget is? Like, how much ETH do you think they sell a year to fund their operations?
If I had to guess, now this is a little bit of a cheat.
You absolutely have to guess. I'm jumping out the window if you don't.
I have seen posts like referring to amounts that they've sold before. So like, I'm not coming at this totally blind, but it's got to be 100 million plus. annually?
I'm gonna go with $75 million annually, and I'm picking that number because it would be less than what I'm pretty sure Polkadot spent on marketing in 6 months, and I want that to be true.
Okay, and nobody in the comments has a guess. Julianus, you don't have a guess. I'm curious to see, and I'll just rug you right now and tell you, Alex, man, you nailed it. Will, you were so close. $100 million, and I think a lot of people in the community, the DeFi community, see that. And they think, why isn't number going up? What could you possibly be doing with your money? But I would remind you that Ethereum Foundation, Ethereum is a $303 billion market cap asset. $100 million for a budget is very reasonable. And in a world where all of those expenses are literally on chain, like way better than UNICEF or even St. Jude.
That's a great point, honestly.
So I think it's interesting, and it reveals a lot about the split in the Ethereum community. That's why I wanted to talk about it today, is because Vitalik is Vitalik. But the community who gathers around him, you really are starting to see in stats like Will's stickiness stat, people moving from Ethereum to L2s. I heard ETHCC attendance was down this year, and people were kind of like twiddling their thumbs because they don't know what the role of the main token or the main ETH ecosystem is going to be as we continue to scale towards this like Web3 future. And a lot of people want that to be number go up. And a lot of people want that to be Ethereum is where the apps live. But also now it is realistic to have other cases for crypto tokens. And it is realistic to build on a cheaper, faster layer 2 and still get that same security. So it's just a really interesting conversation that I thought reflected the moment in time we're in, as like, if you're just coming into crypto right now, you may not even know who Vitalik is or why he matters. And it's very interesting to me, So
yeah, I mean, it's another one of those things too, like what begets the outcome you want? What's the preferred method to walk to success? And if what you really want is number go up, then fantastic. Number go up is a symptom of the other thing being true. If you want Ethereum, let's just keep using Ethereum as the example, but this could be the case for, my mom was asking about Cardano and Polkadot potential recovery. And I would say unequivocally and absolutely those networks could recover. They are titanic forces in the space that are currently dropping the ball. But they have an incredible infrastructure, a very passionate and dedicated community, active developers building stuff who are just currently feeling a little bit lost or disenfranchised because of weird treasury management, odd marketing strategies, or just the fact that at this point we have to do more than speak in platitudes when we're talking about why network X, Y, or Z is going to be great. And ultimately what you need is one singular thing. And this is my pushback against everyone who's in my comments on my last Ethereum video telling me that, whatever random network no one's ever heard of is going to pass Ethereum. It's not. You need users to want to be there. Why is Android and Apple, why are those, as big as they are? Because people use them every single day for basic things in life that have just become part of their life. Ethereum is a hobby right now. All of these things are a hobby right now, but you're starting to see things become more integral to people's lives being built on these blockchains. Like the coffee thing is a great example. And Hector posted something the other day that I want to make a video about as well. It was a comparative analysis of USDC moving to euros, moving to the tokenized euro on 3 different platforms. On Western Union,
okay.
The middle bank was.
I almost made a video about this same thing because I saw the same tweet on Twitter.
Yeah, no, I saw the tweet too. You should make the video because it's phenomenal. It was Western Union, something in the middle that I can't remember right now, and then
I can't remember either. I can dip out and I can tell you.
Okay, And then the final one.
In short, let me just understand. So this is talking about USDC converting into stable euros.
Into stable euros, yeah. Stable dollars into stable euros. Tokens. Token dollars, token euros.
Yes.
Western Union, PayPal, and Uniswap.
Thank you. Okay.
That we're comparing here.
So just so people don't think I just ADHD'd off a cliff, what I'm saying here is that this is an example of like an integral piece of people's lives that can exist on chain. And if more things like this happen, the networks making things like this happen are going to be way more poised for success than anything else. Like the meme casino is great. It's fun, whatever. No one needs the meme casino. It's a frivolous hobby that, like Will mentioned earlier in the stream, will die when everything else burns to the ground and dries up. Like it will go away. But moving currency internationally, which if my memory serves me is the #1 most favorite utility case for the most fervorous army in all of crypto land.
Are we talking about
We're talking about XRP, a utility that is undeniably necessary.
Flood with hate comments.
But that only makes sense with stable coins.
Yeah.
So the metric was here, you could either swap dollars into euros on Western Union, and I'm going to butcher the numbers, Evan, but it was like you lose eight. Okay, so you lose a larger percent in the Western Union trade. You lose a little bit less in the PayPal trade. So that's a move. You know, PayPal is better than Western Union. That's great. You actually make, you don't just break even, you like add the tiniest little smidgen to your position using Uniswap, swapping USDC for EURC, euro, the euro coin, on Uniswap. Just a straight one-to-one.
Doesn't have that same phoneticism to it.
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
It does not. It doesn't sound that good.
Because America.
Because America.
Evan, can you read the percentages, Evan?
Yes, I can read the percentages and prepare to be baffled and blown away. I actually feel like the way these numbers are like written, it doesn't give as much impact. So I'm going to, out of every dollar you spend, if you spend a dollar to, this is for euros, again, I'll say, to transfer euros on Western Union, excuse me, Alex, is it USDC to euro?
Yes.
Or get it away. So if you do it on Western Union, it takes a business day, and you will get 80 cents of your dollar, 81.5 cents.
Ew.
Huh? Yeah, I know. It's gross. If you do it on PayPal, it takes 5 to 10 days, and you get 82 cents. If you do it on Uniswap, it only takes 2 seconds, and they still take a cut, but you get 89 cents. So it's almost
for the record,
8% different.
For the record, 89 cents to the dollar is the raw conversion rate of euros to dollars right now.
That's fantastic.
Yeah,
it's a flat rate essentially.
It's not that. Yeah, that's one thing that could be easily lost. It's not a 1-for-1 swap. $1 does not equal €1. It's a little bit more than that. 89 cents is almost to the penny what the actual dollar to euro equivalent is right now by today's euro versus dollar value.
That's fantastic. Yeah. I missed that.
It's a 1-to-1 pair.
Yeah,
which is sweet.
So essentially what's happening here is like Western Union and PayPal are going to take a big slice. It's going to take days to happen. And that is a service wrought with middlemen. Or you can use stable coins, and it's just like, oh, hey, you have this one and you want this one? Great, swap, done. Like, that's it.
And I just don't get why people don't think stable coins are a big deal. It's like Vitalik and the DeFi thing.
Yeah, right.
I came under my video the other day about ranking crypto tokens. I put USDT at number 3 ahead of Solana and behind Bitcoin and Ethereum. And someone was like, bro, USDT is the stable coin. And I, valid point. But I was like, do you know what stable coins do?
Yeah, but number don't go up. So, and sometimes number go down.
Sometimes number do go down.
Sometimes number do go down on stable coins. One thing, I think there should be more focus on stable coins because they actually do the thing that crypto and the financial sense is supposed to do, which is really help benefit people from a payment standpoint, right? It's like, it's the second use case in crypto. The first use case in crypto is creating Bitcoin to be payment, but stablecoins are better. But to create a system of safety and safe haven from inflation for people. That's the number one use case for crypto. But it's stablecoins are the perfect answer for the number two use case for why crypto was made. One other thing I wanted to mention before we got too far away from it is Alex, when we were talking about Vitalik and you mentioned Charles and you mentioned Gavin Wood,
baby.
No.
The thing is this, I'm not even joking. I just say Gavin Wood. Wood, axe, wood, axe. But I was going to say is you have Vitalik, who is the air quotes leader of Ethereum, and he's very much so a philosophical guy. A philosophical combined with coding guy. He doesn't focus on the price at all. And then you've had Charles, who is much more emotional of a leader, right? And then you've had Brad Garlinghouse, Ripple, XRP. He's even mentioned the price of XRP needs to be at this level for it to be stable, right? The XRP community, a very toxic community. Cardano community became a very toxic community, as I feel like Charles got more emotional. The Ethereum community has never really been that way to me. You have them, they're in there, but for the most part, the Ethereum community hasn't been that toxic sludge house. And it's because Vitalik has never, ever once talked about price. He's never, ever, maybe once or twice, gotten involved in drama or anything. He's just hey guys, this is what we're building. This is what I want to build. This is why I want to build it. Build. I don't really like this, but build. And then you have, and that's it. You have this ethos from the leader and the main influence of Ethereum create this we're building environment. Just all the other bullshit off to the side. I hate to use this analogy because I'm not a huge sports fan, nor am I a New England Patriots fan, but it's like that Patriots way where it's ignore all the bullshit and just do your job. That's it. That was it. It's Ethereum's we're just gonna do our job and build. And it created a much better culture within the community as opposed to XRP, Cardano, insert other things where leaders either got more involved in drama, were more emotional, or were mentioning things about price.
But see, that's if I was to be asked, by any blockchain except Ethereum about okay, hey, we're trying to fix messaging and marketing methodology because XYZ is not working for us. If Cardano and Polkadot both came up to me, which obviously, whatever, if they did, and they asked, how can they fix this ship that is listing heavily? You would want to tell them well, in a perfect world, you would go back and you would just conduct yourself the way Vitalik and Ethereum have, because Vitalik is undeniably central to the Ethereum network. But the way that he talks makes it so that he is, one, a central figure, but two, absolutely, one, nobody would question his dedication to making Ethereum a successful network. But two, they would never accuse him of being an emotional, train wreck that sways with the wind and whose position we're not going to be, aware of or that we would have to be alarmed by. And I would draw the contrast that if Vitalik comes out tomorrow, and there is proof of this because it's happened, and sells millions of dollars worth of ETH, which he's done many times, the Ethereum community would not bat an eye at that. The only people that would freak out at that are other maxis from other networks that want to bear post Ethereum.
I don't know. Actually, a lot of Ethereum people would have a day about it, especially a lot of by Ethereum people and crypto Twitter people.
Okay, but there's a big difference between crypto Twitter people and Ethereum users. Crypto Twitter is a cesspool of bullshit that a bunch of... Okay, I hate crypto Twitter. It's a toxic cesspool of garbage.
But it is the narrative in a lot of ways for many people, and there is a gap. And as evidenced even by this comment here, didn't he just sell 100 million? Nita asks.
Yes.
No, there is a difference between Vitalik Buterin and the Ethereum Foundation. And even a difference between the foundation and like the DeFi community. And that's what's interesting to me about this discussion is what is perceived to be true and what is actually true in different places.
Yes. I guess my point in saying all this was that Vitalik could do that and has done that. And the network would keep on churning. And sure, some people will be upset, of course. But can you imagine the difference if Charles came out tomorrow and sold a quarter of his ADA?
Oh, Cardano would plummet.
Because he is not only the central figure, he is Cardano. Like,
Yeah.
there's more to Ethereum than Vitalik. Vitalik is an integral key piece, but like the foundation, the Enterprise Alliance, all of the DAOs, like these are all things. No one can name any of those in Cardano except for IOHK Global, which Charles is the CEO of, or the Cardano Foundation, I guess. But we don't. I mean, I avidly follow this space, and I don't really see much of anything from the Cardano Foundation. And interestingly, another central, like key figure to a network that I was going to talk about, you've got two more that we didn't mention. You've got CZ with the Binance ecosystem, and you have Justin Sun with the Tron ecosystem, which is the second biggest by TVL blockchain by a factor of 2. Solana's in third
This is
place.
a weird sidebar we don't have to pursue, but I think this recent bull activity on Tron, after hearing more people talk about it, was basically Justin Sun's piggy bank, perfectly timed with the right amount of attention.
No, the man's not stupid. And what's
He's not
interesting,
dumb. Everything on Tron is artificial, and it is designed by Justin Sun, and it is designed to make him money. That is it. It's the greatest money printer that one single person ever funded and created.
Yeah.
you know what's incredible though, and I would defy anyone, don't cheat. Answer this honestly. We can all think of tweets we've seen from Gavin, from Charles, from Vitalik, from any of these, from Richard Hart, like any of these CZ, any of these central figures. Even though I have followed him for years, I've never, and he's not quiet, he talks, he just does it very differently. You never see shit from Justin Sun.
Never.
And he tweets constantly, but it's never like these outlandish, gigantic, monumental Tron bull posts, or it's not even like raw analytical posting about Tron like Vitalik would about ETH. Like he's just out there either shit posting or commenting on people's stuff. He's prolific on social media, but you never hear from him. And that's so interesting. He is the epitome of like shadowy center figure.
Yes.
That, like people don't know anything about.
Before Alex, I know you answered a comment saying we could talk a little about trading crypto, how to do it while reducing volatility or building conviction, and how to make money if the market's up or down. Can I make a commercial to say for anybody who's asking questions or seeing us for the first time, really the best way to join us in this kind of conversation where you can learn all the stuff that we have learned, because we're just everyday people like you. We've spent a lot of time here, is to get in the free Rise Up Morning Show Discord community. You can find the link at theriseupmorningshow.com. You can find it in all our bios. We're live Monday through Thursday at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time, unless you're late like me, like I was late today. It's morning somewhere, people. And we're there. But where the show lives 24/7 and where you can ask our questions, where they won't disappear or we won't miss them, is the Discord server. It's free. It's always going to be free. We have many premium services you can buy, like live courses and coachings. But if you just want to come and ask us a question that we'll see, that's the place to do it. It's at theriseupmorningshow.com. We would love to see you there. So go ahead, man. Commercial's over.
No, great. I was going to say that's perfect timing. I would like to segue the conversation into, handling yourself in the market. Will and I talked about it a little bit, and now with Evan, I'd like to get Evan's perspective on some of this stuff too. So just to kind of wrap this phase up as we then move in.
Wait, Alex, please give me this moment. I'm sorry. I have to rug you.
Take the moment, rug me.
I have to rug you.
Oh, I know.
Ever since Vitalik got a girlfriend, Ethereum has been dumping. Lesson in there.
I had no idea Vitalik had a girlfriend.
I
She's
still don't
attractive.
know if that's real or not.
I hope it's real. I just want this to be real. I don't want this to be AI generated. I want your entire altcoin portfolio is in this man's hands, everyone. Oh, sorry. I saw that and I was like, the people need this.
The people did need that.
No, it's undeniably great.
Juliana said in the comment, Vitalika? That's her name, man. Yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
So, with that image burned forever into our minds, I want to move on a little bit to, from this into the way that we analyze and look at what projects are doing right now and how you might answer for yourself the question, because spoiler alert, if you ask me what I would do with $1,000 right now, like my honest answer right now is put it in USDC.
I was just about to say that. Yeah.
Like it's boring, but I'm telling you, like that's my move right now. If you want to know what I would do with money that I had to put into crypto right now, it would be buy USDC.
And can I disrupt you just to say that is an excellent strategy where you can earn not only more yield than your traditional bank account, but if you want to be someone who's a more active trader, you can look around at pretty stable, legitimate protocols and put the money in a place where if you're paying attention, it's earning you, for this brief period, 12%, 20%. There's a guy right now selling a course here on TikTok that is earned 30 to 70% on your stable tokens on an obscure layer 2 network on Hyperliquid protocol. And it's legitimate. It will go away. But paying attention to that and having money in stable tokens and getting used to moving that around, boy, could you imagine how adept somebody is going to be and how confident they're going to be moving their money if they're practicing right now with stable coins?
For real.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah, if I'm not actively DCAing into anything because I have no clue where things are going to go, and I don't want to buy let's take Solana for example, because it's kind of been ranging. I know that I would like to own more of it than I do. I know that this week it's down 18.5%. I'm currently on average up about 4x, even where it's sitting right now. Actually, that's a lie. It's more like 6. I can't do math. My average buy price is $27. So there, whatever that is now, it's 131. I would like more of it. I would like more of it under $100. And all I know is that right now, shit's sketchy, and there's a very good chance that we go down further. I don't know. Someone was asking me earlier about, trading strategy. They're a terrible trader. I'm a terrible trader. Mm-hmm. I'm the worst, which is why I just made myself my one rule that has led me to not lose a single penny ever once this go around. Okay? When shit's green, I sell stuff. When it's all red, that's the only time I look to buy anything. And I only do it if it's like something I genuinely want and I have free capital that I think would be better spent there. Okay, listen, high-end drip. We can have a contest.
I am Spartacus.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I was ready to go. I am Spartacus.
I am Spartacus.
I am the worst. No, I am the worst.
we can all argue about who's the worst trader.
Seats, yeah.
But you know what? We're all bad. Okay, we're all the worst.
Yeah.
What I mean by that is that I knew that I was terrible at it. I know that I suck at it, which is why I don't do it. Which is why I don't make the case that I can take a full wallet and sit in front of the chart and start swinging around. I know that if I do that, I'm going to get emotionally invested. I'm going to get either greedy or too nervous, and I'm going to do a terrible job. But what I know works now, because I've been doing this for years, and it's my third bull run, I know that if I look at the chart and every one of those hourly, daily, and weekly numbers are bright green, and I sell a bunch of stuff, I know that it's going to oscillate lower than where I just sold. I know that. And that's what I've hedged my strategy on. And then if I open it up a couple weeks later and hey, let's take Sol, for example. the last couple times that I have bought and sold, bought it around 27. We ripped for a long time. Thank you, Nita. That's very flattering. I sold it at 200 and like 202. I bought a bunch of it at 160. I sold a lot of it at 190. I didn't really do anything else until I bought it at 112. I sold it at 162. And now I'm just sort of here with a bunch of stable coins. And if it craters, guess who's happy as a clam? Me. If it rips, guess who's happy as a clam? Because I didn't sell the whole bag. You know, like I can't mess this up right now. And that's what I needed, because if you give me the opportunity to mess it up, I will mess it up. So just completely removed all emotion from the whole thing. Sell when it's green, look to buy stuff when it's red, and I don't feel compelled to buy. If it crashes, I'm not like, oh, well, I have to buy the dip. I just, then I'll objectively think about it and be like, okay, well, do I want to? Can I afford it? Do I need this money right now?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest differences between me this cycle and last cycle is that like I need to buy the dip feeling went away. I sold,
yes.
I bought things early, I made some trades. Luckily I made profits for my 2023 positions by so much that my 2024 positions that were down, I was fine. And I was like, cool, no, I can just take this off the market now. Like, I don't need to be in the market. The idea that I don't need to be in the market was like new for me this cycle as compared to the last one. And now I'm just like, okay, cool. Now I can just like sit and watch, and I can wait to see if and when strength shows up again in a confident way. And like, if I try to dive back into the market, make a trade or two here and there, if one trade wins, another trade loses, like whatever, that's fine. I can step out of the market. I don't have to ride this down being like, but what if it goes up? No, I can step back with my money, put it in USDC, earn the 5% or so, sit, chill, watch, evaluate, learn. And like, I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything, because I know the pain of holding an altcoin specifically and being like, but it could turn around because like it's already red, and then the red reddens, and you're like, oh, like I've experienced that, and I'm good with not experiencing that again. So the idea of like I have to be in the market, that I have to diamond hand everything. I diamond hand my Bitcoin, mind you, but I have to diamond hand these altcoins. I just go, no, Superman, no here, no, thank you. No, thank you, diamond hand altcoins. No, grazie.
No. You go back.
Yeah, no, diamond hands here.
You felt that stress, that like pit in your stomach when you're like really just upset about whatever the market's. I'm with Will. I'm totally good not doing that anymore. I've got enough other things in my life that I'm stressed about. I don't need to be hemorrhaging money because I'm like over leveraged and too emotional about where I want a cryptocurrency to go in price. Mm-hmm. My observations are simple. I buy crypto that I not only would like to hold, but people are using. That's why I'm buying Solana. Because like, yes, I might buy some because I hope that it goes up. But also, if I want to participate in anything on Solana, I need some SOL, so I have to get some. It's the same reason I buy ETH. The last 4 times I've bought ETH, I haven't looked at the price. I just needed some to do a thing that I wanted to participate in. So I grabbed $20 of it. I grabbed $50 of it, $25 of it, whatever. And I used it, and sometimes I kept it or spent a little on gas here, there, whatever. Like, and that was it. And I can't even begin to tell you how much less of a headache this whole thing is this time than that.
I actually don't think.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I don't think I've bought Ethereum as an investment in 4 or 5 years, but I have bought Ethereum multiple times. Every year it has ever existed, and I use it. Yeah, that's the thing. I use the ETH. I haven't bought it as an investment in almost 5 years.
Yeah, I haven't either. And honestly, at this point, I have shifted mostly to picking between SOL and ETH, and buying SOL as an investment, and buying ETH because I just run out and need more.
Well, the thing is, I'm spending way more time on base.
I would hold more ETH, but I just use it.
And I thought it was going to be like Solana, because I was using Solana a lot in 2023 and early 2024. And then I just really shifted to base. That's where I spend my time. I don't do anything on Solana anymore. I still have my Jupiter that's staking, mind you. Although that will be finished unstaking in about like 4 days or so. But otherwise, like my on-chain activity, it's all on Base, and I'm exploring Avalanche again, and that's about it. That's where I'm at.
So I am curious to pull that thread, but before we get off this topic, I do want to point out a comment on, just the idea of trading and how can you be successful, and is it only something you can do when the market is up to make money in crypto? And the answer is no. As someone pointed out, we say we are not good traders, but we understand the principles. The principle is this, that most people who trade, who think they can time a market, most of them lose money. I don't like to look at charts. I have a lot of friends who are great chartists, who are great traders that I think I could probably learn a lot from if my goal was to spend more time actively trading cryptocurrency. My personal goal is to spend less time doing things like that and more time just free to do whatever I want, to play music or be with my partner or hang out with these guys or share stuff with you. I want to have time freedom. That's wealth to me. And so the idea that I would be just stuck to a terminal all the time to see something go up or down and have to make a move where my financial future is going to change like every second, every day, that's a special place in hell for me. So, recognizing that, right? Recognizing that, I think it's important to understand that you also can invest your time and attention in ways like this. Like, the best way to learn is for sure to get in a community, to hang out with people who already know what you want to know, who are willing to share it with you, and where there are more people coming to learn also to share what they know. Just like blockchain ecosystems, we tend to invest, whether the market is up or down, where we can build conviction, and we can build conviction by seeing where attention is flowing. I can see that people are using the Base blockchain. I can see that people are building there. I can see that people are learning there, that people are talking to each other on apps like Warpcast built on top of Base. I can see that developers are spending money, deploying contracts there, and I can choose to spend time there and hang out there while I learn. And then maybe I'll happen to see, I don't know, a cool initiative that can earn me some money. Go ahead, Alex.
Just not to derail, but
go for it.
All the things that Evan just described that he's able to see, all of those metrics, you can find those on sites like DeFi Llama.
Yes.
Developer activity, value locked, money flowing, stable coins locked, all of these things. Like, I cannot recommend to you enough to bookmark and learn how to dig through and read DeFi Llama. It's built very well. They organize the information very nicely. There's a lot of really good visuals. Like, that is quickly becoming my number one.
Oh, totally.
It's always been on my list, but it might be my single favorite, single resource. It's so good.
And that's the thing, is that's where you got to get in the community, is because we don't know everything, but I guarantee you, if you have a question that Alex or Will or I or somebody that we're hanging out with who's awake while we're not is going to be like, oh, you need a website like DeFi Llama, or you need to use this bridge, or your wallet just isn't connected. Somebody who's been here can shed some light on some of the things. It's like an initiation. Community is the thing that allows you to capitalize on another person's experience, where you can participate in the victories and losses that draw you closer and deeper. And those kind of relationships, that kind of loyalty, that kind of, I'll say it, trust, is what accelerates your learning journey if you're in a space where that can flourish. So more than anything else, don't spend your time trading. Spend your time learning in the context of a community, and you can find ways to make money whether the market's up or down.
You know what I totally forgot to say this too, but while I was preparing for today to talk about Ethereum a little bit, and yesterday I did Ethereum in 60 seconds, which, fun fact, today I'm officially, you guys get the alpha. I'm starting rapid fire again because I need some consistent video creation, and I kind of miss doing it, and I'm starting rapid fire news again, so I'm excited for that. But I also started with crypto in 60 seconds, and I did Ethereum yesterday. And
like that.
I went to the Ethereum website for the first time in months. Holy shit. I don't know if you've dug through there, but an absolute master put that thing together. So I think it's just Ethereum.org. Let me confirm that.
I have it as Ethereum.foundation, and also there is one Ethereum.org/foundation.
No. You're talking about the foundation. I mean, literally just the Ethereum website. This one right here.
Yeah, I have Ethereum.org/en for English.
Yeah. So this is it. Welcome to Ethereum. Ethereum.org. Okay. Really quick. If the Ethereum website's absolute mastery in a few seconds. Here's the menu. So what are you trying to do? Okay. Every single one of these will lead you down a path that will get you to the goal of what you want. Are you trying to research? Okay. Here's the white paper. Here's the roadmap. Here's R&D that links you out to all of the open research that's happening, a list of all EIPs, which are Ethereum improvement proposals. These are basically just like things that people can propose to do to Ethereum that everyone gets to vote on. And then governance. Okay, I'm brand new. I want to learn. Great. Here's an overview. Here's the basics. Here's the advanced. Here you can test what you've learned. So basics. What's ETH? What is Ether? How do wallets work? What even is Web3? Define smart contracts for me. Advanced. Bridges, gas, ZK, running a node. Like use cases. What the hell are people doing? Stablecoins, NFTs, DeFi, DAOs, emerging use cases. Here's a little interesting block. Learn about regenerative finance, decentralized science, social networks, identity. Like this is so fucking good. It's obscene.
Yeah, it's killer, dude.
It's
Even that
everything.
image, even that landing image, like the visioned future it shows you is perfect. You know,
I was
many
looking for
different kinds of
being
people.
like, is there a doodle in here? I was like,
It's incredible. I'm blown away. This has become like, of any project that has its own website, I'm sorry, absolutely nothing even holds a candle to how good this website is. So spend a little time here and read some stuff.
and it makes
That's
sense. I mean, Ethereum's king. Give him,
Yeah.
give him that crown. Respect that authority.
I mean, that's what I said
They got the
yesterday.
money to spend.
Somebody tried to tell me that, I forget which, XDC was gonna, overtake Ethereum, and I was like, why?
What even is XDC again? I forget.
I don't know.
Okay.
It's a network with a very small amount of TVL that almost nobody uses.
That makes sense.
But my point in that video was like, you can say what you want about Ethereum. Gas is more expensive there. But guess what? There's more TVL even now when it's down on Ethereum than there is on every other network put together. Every single one put together is less than Ethereum by itself. Someone made the joke the other day, or by the other day, I mean like several months ago. Whoops. That for anyone questioning whether or not Ethereum was still king of the smart contract networks, Ethereum added the total market cap of Solana in 1 hour.
Yeah,
Good.
that's
That's absolutely nuts.
What are the things that scale?
So just think about the scale. To the question about ETH flipping Bitcoin, I honestly don't know, and I personally find, I don't know, I'm a little bit not so much in the camp that like that's a thing. Like I just don't see it as much. Like if we think about this in a world where Ethereum is Apple or Android, if we're trying to draw some sort of equivalency, and Bitcoin is gold, those companies are massive, but they're nowhere near what. And it's different. It's an unfair comparison too, because Bitcoin's utility is being valuable. That's the point of Bitcoin, is to be an alternate currency that we can value by itself instead of using the dollar for everything. And Ethereum is a tool that you can use to do other things with. There are things that are built on Ethereum that have market caps that don't contribute to Ethereum's market cap, because it's the foundational layer of tooling that you can use to do other things. Like it's a very apples to oranges scenario to compare the two of them. So in terms of like ETH flipping Bitcoin, I mean, you can go back and audit me. I've made a couple of videos about the flippening over the years. I just don't see it. That's my personal opinion. Take it for what it's worth. It means exactly what you think it means. I personally don't see it happening.
Yeah, I also don't see, it's possible, but I don't see it happening because I look at the size of the market that Bitcoin is meant to disrupt and the size of the market that Ethereum is meant to disrupt. And both are astronomically gargantuan, right? But the market that Bitcoin's supposed to disrupt is the entire global monetary system, which is the biggest market you could have because all markets are measured in their money valuation, which means it is a subsection of global monetary policy and how it works. Not even policy, just global monetary period, global money. That's what Bitcoin's meant to disrupt. And then Ethereum is trying to disrupt all the various, industries, and how individual people use it. But like, even if you include the overall market cap of however astronomically large every single industry is and how people use money, it is still not the entire umbrella of global money, what it does for people, how it's used, all that kind of stuff, right? So Bitcoin's market that it's looking to disrupt, which it's very well tuned to disrupt, is larger.
And
so
actively disrupting. It's actively disrupting it.
Actively disrupting. And so is Ethereum, but it's still very early. Still very, very early on a very small scale. And unfortunately, BlackRock's going to be leading that charge. So yay.
And BlackRock doesn't lose,
Yeah, BlackRock doesn't lose. And so that's the thing. That's why I don't think the flippening will happen. It's how big is the targeted industry that they're trying to target? There is no larger industry than global money.
Yep.
I think if there becomes a point where Bitcoin displaces all that value, that Ethereum could be a critical component of transitioning people, governments, collectives, networks away from dollars and cents based money. But I think if dollars and cents based money is the game, then it will continue to accrue to Bitcoin. Mm-hmm. I think though the credentials of the future, the proof of humanity, the concert ticket that you got as an NFT, I think a lot of that will live on Ethereum. And I would add this caveat. I will say most of the value in the world is not tangible, and it's certainly not fungible. Your identity, your memories, your relationships, all of those things, I think if you could put them in a bucket, would outweigh the money in the world, for people anyway, and certainly for the animals and trees. But we don't have an effective way to quantify and measure them at scale yet. I think it will be interesting to see what happens when that is here. We may not observe that in our lifetimes. I think we will.
You know what would be nice? It'd be nice if the base on-chain summer pass, it just gave you badges, hey, you planted 5 trees this year. Here's a little 5-tree badge. I loved those badges.
Badges, yeah.
I loved those badges. Dude, I loved it. It got the collector vibe in me, just it just had me. I was like, what if I go and just move USDC and an additional 700, I don't know why I looked at my pretend watch for that, 700 times on chain to get the 1,000 badge. Because that was the only badge I was missing. I don't have 1,000 transactions on base. It was the only badge I was missing, and I wanted it so bad.
Yeah,
I was like, what if I spent all day
had the
sending
ability to create
USDC
their
back
own
and forth?
badges. They should have a create your own badge, and then they should have a partner who will allow. Here's listen, Mac and Cheesy, if you're listening, we have a friend who works at
IYK.
IYK, that's right, and they create phygital products by chipping things in a way that allows you to link an NFT to a physical item. Here's the point. Next time in Summer Base, if you're listening, we have more badges because we're going to have user-created badges and community-created badges, so communities can offer badges to do helpful stuff. And then you link the IYK marketplace so we can get our badges made into pins and buttons in real life, or maybe stickers.
I want that. I would fuck with that heavy. Heavy.
Yes. I put it on my jacket.
Heavy.
Absolutely. I would fuck with it so heavy, I would do more transactions just so I could get the badge. And when I hung out with Will, I'd be like, hey man, check my badge.
And I'd be like, oh yeah, man, check out my tattoo. It's just my patches tattooed.
And they're chipped too, so he's a total cyborg. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You took it there.
Yeah, I just have like this just gross microchip just like plugged into my arm.
No, I imagine though, like, gross implanted microchips aside, how cool it would be to, have that, like, I always use this as an example, like if this had an NFC tag in it and, it could be tapped with a phone to open up, like, my best raid time, for example, or, a total number of kills that I had in raids or, whatever, some metric that I could pick out and choose to display or something. That would be so fucking cool.
Absolutely.
I am that kind of collector that would go out of my way, like you just said, to do more things just to get more badges. And I'm getting, I don't have the NFT one right now. So that's what I've been working on, is just accumulating more. It was funny. My best performing cast in the last 2 months has been me just saying like, base makes me want to collect NFTs again. And for some reason it just kind of blew up. But yeah, I love the badge system. You can right out of the smart wallet just drop an NFT, like launch an NFT mint. It takes 2 minutes to full send. You define a couple parameters. If you want to slap a JPEG in there, you can do that, and then full send. I did one the other day to test it. Really fucking cool. So easy. Cost me 12 cents to launch. So like epic. I wanted to add a couple quick topics just in response to a few questions. So Julianus was asking about the comparison in the narrative, thank you, between XRP as global money and Bitcoin as global money. And I think that when we say the phrase global money, they mean kind of two different things when you think about like specifically those two things competing. So here's my most terse answer as to why I don't believe XRP can be a different global money. XRP is dollars with a different wrapping paper because it is completely dependent on the value of the dollar. To be fair, right now, Bitcoin mostly is too. But the difference is that in my head, and again, this is my opinion, I'm open to being wrong, Bitcoin is marching towards independent valuation. El Salvador adopting it as legal tender is the first of many examples of its march to independence there, wherein someone could value something in terms of Bitcoin rather than in terms of dollars. And that's a tough pill to swallow right now because the price of Bitcoin in dollars is how 99% of people still look at it, and that fluctuates a lot. So it would be really hard to say, like, I'm a car manufacturer and we're releasing the 2025, whatever, and it's going to cost 1.5 BTC. Mm-hmm. And it will always be that price. Like, we're not going to change it in 6 weeks if the price of Bitcoin crashes, or we're not going to, or it spikes. That would be weird right now. But XRP has not even, in my head, the faintest like glimmer of the first foot on that path. And that's why XRP has made the move that it's made recently to RLUSD, with its ledger hosted stablecoin being the thing that could move in between nations to, help transfer money. That makes perfect sense to me.
I will say there is one thing where one person actually got back to a comment of mine about XRP where they're like, well, in order to get RLUSD, the Ripple stablecoin, you have to buy XRP to be able to get it. And I was like, okay, well, like that's a good thing. But mind you, the business model here, the business model is for Ripple, because the whole point here is that XRP is going to go up because the company Ripple is going to get adoption amongst financial institutions to use its solution for cross-border payment. And that solution uses XRP in it, right? But let's say the XRP even gets replaced with the Ripple stablecoin, which it should be because it makes a better solution. So let's assume that. So the person commented was like, hey, well, people in these banks are going to have to buy XRP in order to get Ripple, or Ripple Labs will have to do XRP. Either way, there's going to have to be some XRP to Ripple stablecoin. And I was like, okay, cool. Well, the people who are going to be using this solution only need X amount of dollars to make their international payments. So what they do is they buy XRP or get given XRP once or get given Ripple Labs stablecoin once. But either way, you have a one-time transaction of XRP into the stablecoins, and then those stablecoins are just given to those large financial institutions, and they never need XRP again. They never need to buy it ever again because they just have those stablecoins, because they're in the Ripple Lab solution. It goes from, USD, let's say, into the stablecoin, into the other fiat currency you need to end on. So let's just say euros. And then those stablecoins are still there. It's not like they disappeared. They're still there. They're still within the Ripple Lab solution. So it's not like you're creating an environment where you need to go and continuously buy Ethereum to pay for fees. You just get one boom transaction. You have your stablecoins done. Demand driven for XRP over. Immediately, forever. Forever.
Yeah,
that's it.
I would also just quickly make the statement, and this is a hill that I'll probably die on, needing to buy XRP first to acquire RLUSD is a kneecap to RLUSD utility that will probably be removed at some point because it's a barrier.
Probably be a cash on ramp. Yeah.
It's a barrier to entry that people just simply don't want to deal with. I would say that right now it's a Hail Mary to try to give XRP a purpose to exist, and it's going to not work out in the best way.
This is my theory. Will, you nailed it. You both nailed the head, hitting it. I think that they will continue to do that as long as they have a supply of XRP that they're holding back that they need to use to fund the company. Because every, month or so, they're going to bring millions more tokens on the market. People
50.
will buy them. And then eventually they will all be distributed and released. The company will be, funded. And then they'll say, okay, boys, let's remove that kneecap. And then it'll just be buy RUSD. Trade your Bitcoin, trade your dollars, whatever, swipe your card, RUSD is yours. Also, you can buy XRP over there.
Yeah. The RLUSD use case makes perfect sense to me. We've been saying for years that XRP's utility makes perfect sense. It's a thing that should absolutely be tokenized and done on chain, unequivocally, not with anything other than a stablecoin.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the XRP token is meant to make money for some people. Those people are not you. You are the product. Your money is making someone else able to run a company. And I don't know. I got a comment about this. I did that top 10 video and someone was like, you clearly haven't done your research on XRP. And I am so open. I'm so open to any piece of information that a person might have, any argument somebody might wish to make that could change my mind about this. It's a strong belief, but it's pretty loosely held. But I work here and I've looked pretty deeply at this, and I feel confident that there's just not a good source that I haven't seen.
Let's get one thing. So let's set the record straight here, though. That none of the three of us hate XRP or wish ill of the community. I think that the people holding XRP deserve a pump more than any other token holding community in the entire crypto space. Okay?
Probably. Yeah.
Ripple is one of the few companies that could have gone toe to toe with the SEC the way that they did and come out on top, not only with a litigious victory, but also with a company still intact and able to operate because of how much money they were basically robbed of in the course of that bullshit lawsuit. Okay? Mm-hmm. They are an undeniable titan of the industry. And XRP itself could very well be a great asset if they focused on something other than the thing they're just dead set on being, this intergovernmental liquidity transfer. Using a volatile asset just makes no sense. Stablecoin makes perfect sense. So imagine, if you will, an ecosystem wherein on the Ripple ledger, there was a tremendous amount of other stuff being built, other apps being built, all of this stuff that used XRP as the gas, Ethereum, but on XRP. that could make sense. I could see the viability of competition in that sense. But there's none of that happening. No one is going there to build new apps and to mint stuff and to start new narratives and do whatever. They're every horse they've ever seen in their life is hitched to this one wagon that doesn't really make any sense. And that's the reason. That's it. But one, I'll be proven wrong and be happy about it because I think that the token is undeniably good. It's like they killed it. And like I said, they carried the whole industry on their backs through that fight with the SEC. And no, I honestly don't think maybe the Ethereum Foundation could have weathered a storm like that, but I don't think really anybody else had the fortitude to go through that and survive for as long as it took. Yeah. So,
and I also want to make a comment that the XRP ETF is possible. Like XRP, I don't think it's going to happen, but the XRP ETF, there's more of a reason for XRP because there's more clarity around it not being a security when sold in secondary markets, as stated in the courts. That there's more regulatory clarity around it for it to get approval for an ETF. So like that argument is solid. The case for XRP to be made an ETF is stronger than the case for Solana in that instance, right? Does that mean it's going to happen? I don't think so, because one of the things you got to look for is like, is there demand for this? And you can make an argument for yes, because there's a big community. I would make the argument for no, because it doesn't get adoption amongst its targeted use case. But it just depends on what the SEC looks at, right? But specifically speaking for an ETF, because XRP has regulatory clarity, it does have a legitimate argument for being given the thumbs up for an ETF. I just don't think it'll happen.
No, I mean, not in the United States. Another country
not
might.
In the United States, but that's the only one that matters.
Yep.
Not to be a U.S. elitist, but financial global markets, nothing comes anywhere close to the U.S. financial market.
Not even close. There was another question to move us off of this topic. We talked about it a little bit before, but I think it would be good to kind of give another cover just because it's still trendy. The Sony blockchain.
Oh, yeah.
Evan, can you kind of nutshell for us, you know, what it is and the initial response and sort of, you know, we can kind of get into what our opinions of it were.
I would be happy to. So Sony is launching the first public testnet for its Optimism-based Sonium blockchain. And Sonium was initially built to be its own, I've already missed the partner that they started building with before they went to Optimism. They had another partner, Starscale, maybe. You'll have to check that and come back to me. But the TLDR is they were building their own private blockchain when they decided instead of making it really siloed, let's just make it a little bit siloed. They wanted to make a layer 2 to extend what ETH is doing. And they have released a series of press pieces talking about what they hope this will be. They've mentioned gaming. They've mentioned the metaverse. They've talked about releasing their exclusive right to license content on this chain. But there really is no proof in the pudding yet. And I personally get the feeling that a lot of it is hype, and maybe well-deserved hype, comparing the move to Microsoft entering blockchain. But the way they talk about it leaves me a little skeptical, has me on the sidelines kind of waiting. And my central thesis, and we discussed this in the week last time, is will Sony, a company whose vested interest is maintaining ownership of their technology and their creative products, truly embrace the ethos of blockchain, which is all about giving users the power to own the things they purchase? I think the answer is probably no. But I'm hopeful that they'll do some cool stuff, teach a lot of people about the benefits of blockchain, and I'm excited to see what they'll do.
Yeah, I think it's definitely worth noting that capacity-wise, Sony unequivocally has the potential to do something titanic in Web3. Mm-hmm. I mean, they have the resources, the infrastructure, the manpower. It's undeniably possible that they absolutely crush this. the thing that will be the determining factor, and I would probably pay money to be given the chance to tell this to a Sony executive who's working on this, is that it's not about entering Web3. It's all about how you do it. And there are lots of examples of massive companies that had the potential to do something monumental that flopped hardcore on their face, because sort of like a giant company just opening a TikTok profile and trying to start making content over there, you got to read the room before you step in. And if you just try to like open a TikTok account and post something trendy that was trendy 6 months ago, everyone's going to make fun of you. If you swing into crypto and Web3, especially at this point, vague platitudes about the potential for the decentralized future of blah, 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 whatever, that worked a bull run and a half ago. We need more now. And the methodology of entering Web3 has got to be done like really deliberately to make it meaningful.
So I've got some context about how deliberate they're being, because I was looking up what the hell was that network called, and here's just some stats for you. And then I actually want to disagree with you a little bit to say I don't think that's as important as we think. Shocking, I know. So here's the context. The network that they were building on first was called Astar, A-S-T-A-R. I had never heard of it. Astar Network. So they, tell me if you feel my read is accurate. Astar Network partners with Sony, and now Sony has them integrate all their assets and underlying infrastructure with Sonium, and they boot it over to Optimism, taking the chain's liquidity with them, teasing this testnet launch. Sony subsidiaries, including Sony Music, Sony Pictures, the Sony Innovation Fund, among others, will participate in the Sonium Spark incubation program. Applicants will receive up to $100K in starting capital with access to a network of exchanges and VCs. And finally, another Sony subsidiary previously acquired the cryptocurrency exchange Whalefin. Kind of like Astar Network, I had to look them up, hadn't heard of them, which it plans to rebrand and relaunch this year. So basically, here's what they do. They've got a lot of money, they've got a lot of notice, and they've got a big name that everybody knows. They poach Astar Network, get them to build them a blockchain, move it over to Optimism where everybody lives. They poach this exchange, rebrand it, Sony Exchange, whatever they're going to call it. And now, when they're ready to launch, they're going to have an exchange, they're going to have their own blockchain, they're going to have an incubation program. And what I think will happen, Alex, is they will bully their way to attention, because most of the people here will not say, yeah, that's a cool story. All of us are going to be like, no, man, we're waiting for you. But everybody who knows the name Sony and has been waiting to get into blockchain and sees that they have all the tools everybody else has is going to go, I trust them more than these guys called Ethereum. You know what I mean? And I think it's that liquidity that we have to be thinking about when we're talking about what's going to, 10x our bags from here, or what's going to onboard the next 100,000 people.
Well, you know why companies started doing this. They started building on it for a little bit, but they have the proof is in Coinbase. Coinbase built Base, and right now Base, even in this bear run we've had, they're making an additional $3 million in revenue every month in this little bear market. Now, how many people have Sony products?
Yeah.
More than Coinbase has users. What if you put all that on the blockchain? You have little fees that are generated off of that. How much more money can you generate continuously? How strong is your cash flow after that point? They're going to start experimenting with this kind of stuff, and they're going to try to find ways to be like, hey, it's cheaper for you, but it creates a longer term cash flow for them. That's going to be interesting to see how that gets worked out and applied, and what parts of their business they apply it towards and what parts they don't.
I think that the piece that gives me the most pause is just thinking about the way that other Web 2 era companies have tried to do a blockchain related thing. Yeah. With that idea that they're appealing to a much bigger audience, or that they have a lot more people with things in their hands than Ethereum ever does. But if we look at just a couple examples, and my point here is that it's very possible to fall flat on your face despite all of that infrastructure. Yeah. Look at the way Porsche entered.
The Porsche effect. I knew you were going to say it.
Oh, I forgot about Porsche.
So Porsche and Starbucks, for that matter. Starbucks, and I think those are two interesting examples, because Porsche flopped so hard. they could not have made that worse if they tried. It's almost like they hired someone specifically to just repeatedly shoot themselves in the feet.
Just fuck my shit up. Yeah.
Like,
that image is so good.
so the way that you do it definitely matters, because people in that Web 2 era, especially I would say Sony's biggest customer base, is inherently very skeptical about this. And personally, if I put myself in the shoes of someone who is hyper skeptical about Web3 technology or blockchain or whatever, and Sony was like, look at Discord. Discord pulled their people and were like, hey, what if we started doing some NFT stuff? And everyone was like, oh my God, I will uninstall and never come back. Versus Reddit just doing it anyway. I'm worried that a lot of people will look at that and just be like, okay, this is a sleazy money grab because game revenue is suffering, or electronic sales are down, or the chip shortage, or whatever. And, for that reason, Sony wants to make more money, and they're going to try to start a pyramid scheme inside their company with this whole crypto thing. Like, I don't think that's...
Wouldn't that be so good, though? It'd be so funny. It'd be for us for us three at least. It'd be really funny to be like, even Sony goes, what if we take our company and we make it a Ponzi scheme and attach a crypto to it? It's just, guys, if you guys aren't aware, we joke all the time where people are like, I have this great idea for a product. I'm going to put it on the blockchain. And we're like, okay, cool. And they're like, but we're going to make it a Ponzi with its own altcoin. We go, shit.
Yeah. So close.
This is why Gary Gensler. This is why Gary Gensler, when asked, is a Pokemon card a security, said no. And when asked, is a Pokemon card on the blockchain a security, said maybe. Because when people put stuff on the blockchain, for some reason, they're like, no, hear me out. What if it's a token that doesn't do anything, but people can buy it?
Yeah.
Evan, I want to put a pin in that because I have a thought about it specifically. Hang on.
Vitalik is just crying somewhere. At this point,
No, it's okay. He's just wearing another silly hat and dancing with his girlfriend.
He's got a girlfriend now. What is he?
He's got a girlfriend now. Vitalika.
Okay. So anyway, I just to put a pin in the Sony conversation, I understand both of your points. I just, like I said, I think that we've seen way more examples of a Web 2 titan showing up and fumbling the bag.
Yes.
Than we've seen them succeed. And even the ones, like, that's why I mentioned Starbucks, because I think that Starbucks crushed their entrance. I think it was so good. And they still ended up shutting it down. Which is really unfortunate. So Sony undeniably could do it, and it's just going to be all in the execution, because not only do you have to convince the native Web3 people that you probably need to be the initial users to give some traction and viability to your thing that is Web3, because like, hey, we want new stuff to use and do, and hey, a lot of us know what Sony is, and so maybe we think that that's more likely to succeed, so Web3 natives will come over there. But you also then have to make sure that you're not gatekeeping your Web2 audience, who has an inherently negative view right now of crypto and blockchain and Web3 stuff. And you've got to make sure that you're welcoming enough to them while not prohibiting the diehards, from being there. It's a very tough line to walk. I think it's absolutely possible. It's just not as easy as people think. But you made, Evan, the comment that you just made about I totally forgot about that quote, that, putting a Pokemon card on a blockchain, maybe it's a security. So there's a prong of the Howey test that essentially just says, based on the labor of others, which is to say that like you can expect profit or return on your purchase without you having to contribute anything to it except buying. Tokenizing something, this is why I don't think necessarily, like I could see where Gary says maybe from. Tokenizing something and putting it on like an open, very easy to access and much higher velocity marketplace than eBay, for example, which would probably be the next highest velocity marketplace for a non-tokenized Pokemon card, removes a key piece of what could be construed as effort on behalf of the buyer. I'm not saying that I agree with him, for the record. I'm just saying this is probably where his line of thinking is, and I would be curious to hear him confirm or deny this. If I have to drive to a store and buy a Pokemon card that I have to rifle through a box to pick out, you could say that that's effort and me doing a normal purchase thing. It's the reason that no one would ever call a blender a security. But if I tokenized Blender token, I could absolutely say that, like, okay, this is a security because now we're speculating on more people using blenders and whatever, and the value going up. But all I did was click yes on my computer at home versus like going and doing something and picking it up and carrying it home and doing whatever. Like, because the memes post OpenSea lawsuit are just that everything is a security because everything could theoretically be construed to like maybe go up in value someday. But I just think the second you tokenize it, like there's a change in perception and the velocity increases by so much that, you know, it just doesn't take anything to just sit there and buy versus having to like go through shipping and doing all this other crap and like waiting days and spending money and, you know, going to a store and picking up stuff or putting something in the mail and doing whatever.
And Will, why do you have an axe?
Oh, I've had it this entire time, but you know, I have my axe here, I have my dirk here, you know, I got my office knife here, and then
he's preparing
if the other office knife gets lonely, so that office knife is here, and then we mentioned Gary Gensler, and Will instinctively picked up a piece of medieval weaponry. And then my warhammer's here, and then the golf club's over there, and then the samurai swords are going to go on the wall. So, you know, my girlfriend moved in, and girls don't like pointy things all over the place. So, you know, they're all going in my office.
Yeah, I thought you were arming up for the war with the SEC for sure.
Oh, no, I've just had this in my hands the entire time we've been talking. I've had it in my hands the entire time. Yeah. It's nice.
It is his comfort axe.
It's my comfort axe. It's good.
As we start to wind down here, Evan, there was a question about, you know, do we offer help with portfolios? And I would say the answer to that is yes, but perhaps not in the way that might be expected. So Evan, I'm wondering if you can give a quick commercial about like why somebody might want, because we do offer private coaching, which I think is valuable, but not in the sense that we're going to take you behind closed doors and give you the list of 20 tokens to buy that we refuse to tell everyone on social media.
Gotcha. No, yeah. Sorry if that's what you're expecting. You'll be disappointed.
I just wouldn't want someone to. I wouldn't want someone to sign up for that, expecting that to be the case, and then be disappointed with what you get. So, Evan, if you could just
here's what you get, and let me tell you, if you want to play along at home, the best place to do it is the riseupmorningshow.com. You do want to put a little www or a little HTTPS in front of it. Your browser might block it otherwise. The riseupmorningshow.com. You can find there the links to join our free community, which is the best place to get like in touch with us anytime. But you can also find links to live courses and coaching. I am updating the live courses today. And one of the live courses that we offer recurringly is a portfolio principles course. I'm trying to do this once a month, and we're playing around with days and times, so give us your feedback. You can also buy a recording if you can't attend the course live, but the portfolio principles course or a private coaching where we talk about your portfolio is basically going to look like, you know, an examination of tokens and portfolio strategies to show you how we have built conviction and how you might go about building conviction for yourself. If I tell you to invest in something, first of all, I'm not a licensed financial advisor. It would be illegal, but it would also be foolish of me to assume that an investment that works for me is going to work for you. So what we do in courses like that, if you want us to evaluate your portfolio, is we'll talk to you about it. Why do you hold this token? How long have you held this token? When did you buy this token? What's it worth now? How much money have you invested in this do you need it back? What's your time frame? How much are you losing? How much could you afford to lose? Things like that allow you to unpack for yourself with somebody who has some experience why you're doing what you're doing, and then get some outside perspective on some things you might consider. If we see that you've got 60 tokens in your portfolio, the first thing we're going to say is, my brother or sister in Christ, when do you make time to eat and sleep? You're killing yourself. You know what I mean? We give feedback like that. We help you make your approach to investing more manageable. We talk about our profit-taking strategies. Just the goal is to make you a more self-sufficient investor. If that's something you're interested in, we would love to see you there. And I will tell you that while our Discord is totally free to join, always will be forever, if you become a premium or premium plus member of our community, low as $9.99 a month, the primary thing you get is discounts to live courses and coaching that exceed the cost of membership. So if you're the kind of person who's like, man, I would love to take a course a month with you guys. I'd like to learn more about how to spot scams or how to DeFi or whatever. I want to take a coaching with you once a month. You will save more than the cost of your membership on those things. So that's really who the membership is for. Plus you get deeper access to us in every form. If you send us a message and you're a Premium Plus member, I will get on the phone with you. You know what I'm saying? If you want to accelerate your learning journey, you need to get in the community. And in our community, the best way to accelerate your journey is through a premium membership, of course, a coaching. We would really love to see you there. And shout out to everybody who's there already. We have, 600, almost 650 people hanging out, learning about crypto together, making it, an awesome community on the blockchain. We have people who are teenagers and people who are in their 80s learning with us. All that's missing is you.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a cliche, but it truly is the difference. At least this is our ultimate goal. It's truly the difference between you buying a basket of fish from us or learning how to fill the basket yourself. The whole point is that everyone has the potential to make these determinations for yourself. You wouldn't know that from listening to most influencers, because the goal is always like, bait engagement by just telling you a list of tokens that they believe is going to go up for this, that, or whatever reason, 99% of which is just reading you the front page of the website, which I promise you can do by yourself.
Yeah.
And then saying like, oh, I just saw one for a blockchain called Venom. And it was like, the context of the video is literally, this is going to pass Ethereum. And I'm like, brother, why? And the only piece of evidence that was offered in the video was literally reading the opening paragraph on the website where they said that they were going to, and I'm not kidding, it was basically copy pasted from Ethereum's homepage. Like if you were to define what Ethereum is as a network, they did that, but they named it something else and they slapped a fresh token on it. And it's I didn't even look, but I would be willing to bet money that it's probably built on Ethereum. So
yeah, it's EVM compatible, but it's layer 0.
Yeah.
Hey guys,
okay.
I got to get running.
Okay, do you have a final thought, or are you just saying bye?
Final thought. Moisturize your skin, guys. Dry skin's rough. Stretch. I recently hurt my hamstring sprinting. I didn't do enough stretching. Didn't warm myself up. Especially you guys. I'm in my 30s. I got to warm up. Otherwise, no. Be good people. Do good things. Make a bunch of money. I got to run, but hey guys, I'll chat with you guys later.
Bye, brother.
So anyway, that's really the point. Like you can watch videos where someone tells you like this thing is going to 100x, and that's great. I personally know people who charge lots of money a month to just hear them say that privately, and I'm sure that sometimes it's accurate and sometimes it's not. But as Evan says, like you can either pay someone to teach you the skill that you can use to make all of those determinations for yourself and then actually understand the thing that you just bought or why you bought it. Or you can pay to become beholden to a person whose word you're going to then need to dictate every step you take with that investment for the rest of the time that you hold it. If you buy something without understanding what it is, and then someone says, well, I think you should sell it because blah. And then someone else says, I think you should hold it because blah. And you're like, well, which of these two people do I listen to? And when it comes down to it, you truly don't even know what you bought, why you bought it, or why it's a piece of shit, or why it might succeed in the future. Then you're just going to ping pong back and forth between, well, who's telling me this with more confidence? Or who has the bigger audience? Or whatever. And ultimately what you're doing is gambling on which influencer is the better fortune teller. And at the end of the day, you're doomed. You're destined for failure. It would be exponentially more valuable to one time or even regularly pay someone to walk you through exactly how you could come up with the bull case or the bear case for every single thing by itself. And we don't even need to explain every crypto to you because, one, I don't know all of them. I don't even know 1% of them. But what I do know is exactly how to evaluate absolutely anything. You can take my formula and drop any crypto into it, and you will come out with an opinion about whether or not Alex would invest in this. And I would way rather give you the formula and then let you go off into the world and drop things into it and then come back and say, hey, I took this token and I applied this methodology to it and I arrived at this conclusion. What do you think? And then we talk about like where I would have gone this way or that way or whatever. That's
right. And when you're hanging out and learning from Alex's perspective like that, eventually it's not that his methodology becomes your methodology. It's that you learn it well enough to do it a couple times. And then you feel like, oh man, this part is difficult, or I love this thing, but I don't love that thing. And then you come hang out with me and you're like, wow, Evan does this totally differently. It's like the same, but different. And then you like some things from that and you change your approach a little bit. And then you hang out with Will, or you hang out with someone else in our community, one of our other members. You hang out with Doug, you hang out with Tori, you hang out with whoever, and you learn about all this stuff that you just didn't know about before. It's like going to an international buffet and getting to sample a lot of different dishes in a kitchen is clean, where they're not going to just try and separate you from your money before you get to bite anything. And it's going to be a valuable experience. There's going to be some stuff you don't like. You might take a bite of something that burns your tongue a little bit, but like, we're here together. We're having good conversation. We are feeding our bodies, kind of thing, feeding our brains, our spirits. You're gonna pick up so much more knowledge that way. But let me be clear, Alex. If there is somebody in the audience who just wants to buy a coaching a week because they just need someone to sit there and hold their hands with them, I promise you that paying us to do that with you until you are ready to go walk on your own is a way better use of your time and money than just hunting around in the internet for the next 100x and yeeting your money at the wall. We have stories of people who have lost, who have gambled, who have spent, who have been deceived. The one that really hurts me this year, that just is like my North Star, is I have a follower who told me she lost $30,000 investing in a trading ring that did not exist because someone lured her to a very convincing scam website. But it was the kind of scam that if she was hanging out in our buffet in our restaurant and somebody brought it to the menu, just doing a little bit of diligence, because we have the experience to know what to look for, we could have told her in 10 minutes, no, this is a scam. Don't click this, and saved her $30,000. So even if you are nervous and scared and want to, have someone hold your hand in the meantime, we can do it. We can do it. But because we can't scale that experience to everybody, we have to charge for it. It would be a better use of your money than spending $30,000 on a scam. No.
To the comment, Snowman, that you should do it for free because it's better for your soul. A couple thoughts. One, the show is free. We stream 5 times a week, and I'll answer any of those questions like right now. That's free. The general Discord channel is free. You can go in there and you can ask questions, and there are people that will help you, and we ourselves will help you. It's just not something that we can sit and watch and prioritize 24/7. We also all create content every single day on these channels right here, and every single one of those videos is free. There is also content that goes on YouTube every so often. This stream gets uploaded to YouTube, and that's free. So there's
the Discord. The Discord is free. Like, you get in to ask us a question and talk to us and hang out with everyone. That's totally free. There are expanded services you can pay for. Here's the thing. Everything you pay for is something that we just don't have the capacity to personally scale. I couldn't sit with every one of our 650 members for a 90-minute coaching session once a week. I can't do that. Alex can't. It's physically impossible. So what we have done is tried to structure an equitable way for people who want to do that to not take us away from the free stuff, but enable our ability to scale it further to more people and deeper, so that when people come to us for free, because of the people who paid us, we can spend more time, effort, and energy making better resources that anyone anywhere can learn from. That's the goal. I despise the tool of money. I think it is an idol. I think it is unnecessary and a proxy for all the things that are required to fully experience life. But while most people live in a capital system where resources are allocated by dollars and cents, I recognize it as a game that for now, as I work to dismantle the system, I must play. If I want to participate in this way with groceries. So, you know, I'm sorry to say it, but that's how it is, man.
It's the way of the world.
I don't feel bad about that. I'm not losing sleep about that at night. I used to lose sleep about that, but I don't lose sleep about it anymore. And I want that feedback, though, Alex, and I know you do too. If somebody has a criticism about that, we are so open to it. I don't mean to sound defensive about it if I do. And I'm sure you don't either.
No, not at all. I just, because I'm with you. It made me feel weird at first because here's my line of thinking that I went down from top to bottom was just, what I'm doing is ultimately passing on information that I acquired for free. And I would never sit here and tell you that every single thing I know cannot be learned through various sources on the internet for free. The difference is that you can either go do that, and honestly, I'll give you the full list of all of the websites I've ever looked at and researched and used to learn stuff, and you can go do it. What you're paying for is not necessarily the information. It's the convenience of having it gone through over what is at this point 5.5 years of active learning and a bunch of conclusions drawn and methodologies and frameworks created and then pass that on. And it's different because, like Evan said, not every investment is the right thing for everyone. And so you should probably be able to tell the difference if hey, I'm a short-term investor. I'm good at swing trading and I want to know what has the potential to have crazy price moves and do whatever. That's a very different question than hey, what's probably going to still be here in 10 years? Frameworks, you say? Yeah, always bullish on frameworks. So that's really it at the end of the day. You can go learn all of this for free. It's just going to take you a while, and that's fine. I recommend doing that. I also recommend, like I say in every video, fact check everything. You should be fact checking everything that people say, especially people like us, and especially on a platform like TikTok, because it doesn't cost me anything to make a video that sounds confident as hell that it's full of bullshit, and that's the vast majority of crypto content. Evan.
Yes.
I think that I am fast approaching well-metness, and I'm wondering if you have any final thoughts, anything that we didn't cover that you feel like you wanted to give attention to, or even just kind of, what we're going to be looking at for the rest of the week. I definitely want to make this week themed around the idea that the markets are boring right now. And so does that mean that you take your ball and go home, or does it mean that you observe? And I would not even say buy stuff. I would just say kind of like we kicked the show off with, what are you keeping your eyes on? What are you watching? Do you want to be the person that whines about someone else getting lucky, or do you want to be the one who got lucky because they, buckled down and leaned in?
I think it's a great theme. I don't know that I have a hat that reflects that theme. And it might not be too late for me to order one of those Vitalika hats from Temu or something. But I would wear that. I would say, yeah, that sounds like a great theme. I'm interested, some things just to maybe preview the stuff that we could talk about. I would be interested in talking about some of the upgrades that are happening to blockchain ecosystems, which ones are likely to pan out favorably. There's a migration happening on Polygon Matic right now. The Fire Dancer upgrade is coming to Solana. Phantom just had a Sonic upgrade. And I think there's stuff happening on ETH pretty much all the time. So I think that could be kind of cool to talk about, is which of these tech upgrades in these places where the tech is so cool will have, proof for the pudding. I think it could also be cool to just continue talking about the distinction between crypto trading as the only way to make money and how people can spend their time in these boring moments, paying attention to what's happening and capitalize on that. Whether it's with money, whether it's with time, whether it's with their network. September is traditionally a real down month for crypto, for the S&P, but most years, and especially halving years, tend to be up years at the end. The Decembers and Januaries tend to be really green times. And like Alex says, the simplest strategy is buy low, sell high. When it's red, accumulate more if you have conviction, and when it's green, sell a little bit. So maybe we can talk about that. One of the things I wanted to talk about that I wish you would remind me about, I'm going to write it down. We got asked about a blockchain called Chili's a while ago. Do you remember that? And it was like it wanted to be a social media kind of thing. It had a chili token. It was spelled phonetically like Chi-Li, but it had a little chili pepper. We kind of looked into it, and it was like, oh, that could be cool. They came on my radar for something. I was thinking about sports meme tokens, and I was like, I've seen some licensed tokens for like this soccer club or that soccer club, but I haven't really seen it take off. And I was thinking to myself, man, a great just straight up meme token company would be the Green Bay Packers meme, the Chicago Bulls meme, the New England Patriots meme, the New York Yankees meme. And this is the company that has the smart contract that launches every sports team meme. And then they expand to every sports player. It's just a meme token. You don't get to see your favorite team play. There's no free tickets. Maybe there could be down the road. But this blockchain, Chili's, has a network called Socios that has fan tokens. And their play is it's UFE. Closer than ever to your favorite franchise. And they are officially licensed is their play. My thesis is you don't need to be officially licensed in the world of memes if you get to the market first. Their play is if you're officially licensed, you can do things like give us 10 tickets and we'll give them away to our holders. We can say that we are official, But I would love to talk about that and to talk about other such cases for we always get into the weeds about what are NFTs going to be used for? What are memes going to be used for? And I just think that would be such a great example, especially for somebody scrolling through who's like, crypto, why does it matter? In a way that might be fun. Meme tokens for sports teams and other such ideas. That's what I'd like to pay attention to. That was a way too long final thought for today. I really will give you my very last final thought is the last couple of days I have been drinking green tea instead of coffee because I think I overdid it on the coffee, man. My stomach is like angry at me. It's angry at me. So if you've got stomach tea remedies, gut health stuff, leave it in my comments on all my crypto videos. Reply to somebody spamming about XRP with your favorite remedy for gut health. And I would really appreciate it. That's my final thought for today. What about you, man?
I think I'm pretty well met. So I'll just make my final thought answering Khalil's last question briefly, and we can talk more about this later in the week because there's some more nuance here. But the question was just, why doesn't OTC purchase affect spot market price the same way that the spot buy does? The short answer is literally just because it's off market. It is, as the name implies, it's over the counter. If I'm purchasing Bitcoin on Coinbase, the world sees that transaction. It directly affects open liquidity. It directly influences, it goes right into the order book. It directly influences, the market price, because if the markets recognize that lots of people are buying more stuff, then you increase the price more to make more money. Versus Evan having a Bitcoin and me having the equivalent price, and Evan saying, hey, I'm going to sell you this right now for this price. And, you wire me the money and I send you the Bitcoin. Evan could set his own price there, which he could theoretically do. You could theoretically go onto Coinbase and sell Bitcoin for less than the market value if you really wanted to. I don't recommend it, but you can. That's your right. You can do that if you want. People did that with NFTs too. The floor price to whatever was something, and someone just sent it for free and took money somewhere else. It's really just because that's off the books. That's a private transaction between two parties who are two consenting parties. When the OTC transaction becomes public knowledge, it could influence price, but it's going to be lagging because it happens and then you find out. It doesn't happen and then out. And yes, you can transfer your balances from exchange to exchange if you want to, as long as all of those exchanges that you transfer to support the thing you're trying to send. So definitely make sure that's the case beforehand. Coinbase has been getting some hot water lately. I've seen some complaints on Twitter just because of like not supporting one chain or this or that or whatever, and locking up money that gets sent there because it's on an unsupported chain, even though they could access it and they choose not to. And it's little, so definitely make sure that like trading is open for whatever it is. And Bradley, if you have a question about that, just literally throw it in the general chat and we can look at it. That's an easy one to help get some secondary eyes on. But no, it's that's definitely a thing. That right there is a trading strategy that some people implement called arbitrage, where like if they're selling Bitcoin on Coinbase for price X and on Kraken it's slightly cheaper or slightly more expensive, people buy a bunch of it on one, send it to the other, eat the transfer fee, and then sell it for a profit on the other one. That's called arbitrage. It happens all the time. Something is trading on one platform for a different price than it is on a different platform, because they each kind of have their own little independent market. Anyway, with all that said,
that was like we both gave really long final thoughts today.
Those were not
highly specific.
Those were not classic, typical final thoughts. I appreciate all of you for hanging out today. We'll be back same time, same place tomorrow morning, right here on TikTok at 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central. If you have questions, comments, anything, bring it there. If you ran out and you didn't get your question answered, toss it in general, where the show lives on in the Discord 24/7. The links to all of that can be found at theriseupmorningshow.com. Every link to everything relevant to this whole enterprise can be found at theriseupmorningshow.com. Evan, as always, thanks for hanging out. All of you, I appreciate all of your time this morning, and we will see you same time, same place tomorrow morning.
What's up, everybody?